Have y'all finished up spring practice now?
Yeah, finished this morning. We had practice yesterday and today, and really concentrate on our young players.
Did anything after watching the spring game film pop out to you that you didn't really recognize just watching the game?
Cleaned up some things defensively. I felt like we misfit some things in the run game and didn't cover as well as I would like to early. We still need to make some strides in the secondary. Continuing to bring some guys along up front. But overall, I felt like we accomplished a lot in spring. We have some answers to be, some questions to be answered in the fall, obviously. And we got 4 months before we report, so we've got a lot of time to be able to lift, get in great condition, and I know our strength staff will do an outstanding job.
What's been your impression of Muschamp last year in camp? And it looked like he played well on Saturday.
You know, and he's improved. He's he's gotten stronger. He's better at the point of attack, that was a little bit of an issue last year of just holding up on blocks. But he's really developed himself in the weight room. He's worked extremely hard, and I think he's made a lot of progress. He's going to help our football team a lot next year. And I'm proud of how he's continued to work and buy into the work ethic it takes to be successful.
It seemed like you played a lot of guys on the defensive line, a lot of young guys Saturday. Anybody else stand out to you particularly?
Well, I think that, you look at the end position, we really have Aaron Sterling, who played well for us as a freshman. Shamik, I think, has come along. Dennis Warren can play the end position. Kier can always go back out and play the end position. 3 guys inside that I feel like we can win with is Kier, Javon Kinlaw, and Kobe Smith. We need more guys up front inside to be able to help us. JJ's going to help us. He could play end. He can also play tackle as well. If he's playing inside, he's going to be, a movement guy because he's very slippery on blocks and he's got very good instincts on blocks. But we need some more guys to step up front for us. At the buck position, obviously Dennis Warren can play there, and then when we're not in regular, Bryson will play there. Danny Fennell continues to make strides, and Brad Johnson. So, this is probably as deep as we've been since we've been at South Carolina with the guys up front. We've got to continue to be deeper. I'm never going to be satisfied with the numbers. The most exerting thing you do is rush the passer defensively, and you got to have as many as you can, especially early in the year.
Coming off their first spring, what is sort of the challenge to the early enrollees with kind of what they've got to do in the next few months?
Well, I think we'll start the exit meetings next week with our team and just talking in terms with them. I meet with everybody on the team and go through what we've discussed as a staff from a coordinator standpoint, from a position coach standpoint, and from my standpoint, what they all need to do to improve. Not just the mid-year guys, but the mid-year guys are going to be very pleased when we get into fall camp why they came here now. Because now they understand a little bit more about strain, a little bit more about the installation, the scheme, the things we're trying to do. So it's going to be very beneficial for them in August. But we'll meet with every player on the team starting next week and go through what they need to do to improve themselves, which obviously helps us have a better football team.
You had Jay and DeCarry live in the spring game. Just what was the rationale for that? What do you feel like they learned?
Well, I think his first thing as a young quarterback is the hardest thing they have is the time clock. When do you get rid of the football? Because you can get into a comfort zone back there and think you have time, and you don't have time. And that was something I noticed early in spring ball. They felt like they had more time than they really had. But both guys are really good athletes. Both guys can use their legs to extend plays and to be able to, number one, let them understand about time clock, but number two, use them in the run game, because if they're our quarterback, they're going to be used in the run game. That's going to be part of what we do.
You have 2 linemen from this class from the Charlotte area. Just what kind of inroads do you think you feel you've made recruiting?
We're doing an outstanding job. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the country. But the Charlotte area is essential to us moving forward. And I've pinpointed it from day one. And we felt like we signed the 2 best players in the area and probably in the state of North Carolina. And Rick Sandage and Javon Gwynn, both 2 explosive athletes. Expecting both guys to contribute for us next year. And I'm looking forward to getting them on campus.
So Darius Hutchinson was named Offensive Player of the Spring. Can you just talk about his turnaround coming from the defensive side of the ball to offensive?
Well, since he's been with us, he's been on the offensive line. But, a guy that I just noticed as an athlete coming out of Tennessee, Huntington, Tennessee, very good athlete, had growth potential, was probably 250 pounds on his visit, is now up over 300 pounds. But you see the growth potential within his body, but then his athleticism, his feet. You watch the film, then you meet the young man, and you just, all the intangible qualities you want in a football player, but has really bought into the weight room, has bought into our nutrition program, has worked extremely hard, is very coachable. Coach Wolford's been very pleased with him and how he's retained information and things like that. So we're very pleased with Sedaris and his progress.
Everyone able to stay healthy the last couple of days?
Yeah, we're good.
And Markway, did he have to have an MRI on his
No,
knee,
he's
or
fine.
is he fine?
He's fine. He's going to be fine. Thank goodness, because Kyle's, man, our first 2 years has had the worst luck with injuries and different things that have happened. I'm happy he's finally healthy. And when I saw it in the scrimmage, it didn't look good. And fortunately, just a little sprained MCL will require no surgery.
And with Rico, it seems like he's been in and out for so long. Are there long-term feelings or long-term concern for him that he just can't get healthy, or do you think that he'll be all right once August rolls around?
Well, Rico and I had a long conversation today, and a lot of the soft tissue issues go back to hydration. They go back to continuing to strain the muscle all the time, and he and I had a very productive conversation today. And at the end of the day, he came to campus with a groin issue. That was before he ever got to South Carolina. Obviously struggled with that early on, and then was very healthy and played extremely well for us his first year. And then going into last year, he had basically a broken ankle, so to speak. It was a high ankle sprain, which now they do surgery on those. But the soft tissue issues are my concern. When they break a bone, those are things that are frustrating but happen. But when you start talking in terms of soft tissue issues, and we've practically eliminated our issues from year 1 to year 2. And a lot of it went through hydration, living the right way, getting the right amount of sleep, and straining all the time. And that's been my experience with eliminating those issues on our football team.
So it was basically just conversation you had with him about taking better care of yourself.
Better care of yourself, straining all the time. I mean, Rico agrees. He's a mature guy. He's a guy that understands that, and he practices extremely hard when he's there. He pushes himself extremely hard. So we got to continue to be there. But the great thing for us right now is Tyson Williams and A.J. Turner. We got 2 guys we'll roll out there and play with anybody. So at the end of the day, we're going to play the guys at practice.
In this case, is training weight room work, or is that kind of something else?
Just training hard.
You feel like Debo's overcome that? I mean, he had the same issues, but he didn't last year. I know.
No,
he
didn't
broke
last
his
year.
leg.
Yeah, he basically broke his ankle. But I mean, at the end of the day, he didn't have any soft issues. I'd knock on your head.